right, guys, we're going to do an inside out rainbow gradient sunset using watercolor pencils on watercolor paper. Check it out. It's going to be fast, fun, and easy. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie, and I'm here to welcome you to your creativity. We are going to be playing with watercolor pencils on watercolor paper. This is all from Arteza, and they have a coupon code down below in my more information box for 10% off your entire purchase. It's Deliberately Creative and some number. Check it out. I love how this turned out. I have a reference right here. Beautiful, deep, rich tones. This one's a little more washed out, a little more natural looking. But I want to go a little bit deeper. So the pencils came in this fun metal tin. It has all the colors printed on the lid in order, but the pencils were in their trays, not in order. So there's several trays stacked up in here. If you want to leave your pencils in here and lift out the trays, I would suggest putting a piece of tape on both sides or taping some ribbon so that you have little handles to lift up your trays. Just makes it easier, because that's the thing I don't like about their tin. Tin is great. Tin is nice, sturdy, really good. But I love the pencil case. This pencil case is a nice sturdy. The seams were all really well sewn. It has 2 zippers. The pencil case will hold about 240 pencils. I left the front open so I can put things like my water brush and maybe a pencil or a pen, things like that in the front. If you can buy this case separately. If you have the real brush pens, you can fit 2 real brush pens per slot. Pencils, you can fit 3 per slot. So we're going to be using the black real brush pen to do the actual silhouette, and we're going to be using the water brush. It's just a round water brush. It is clean. The ends are just starting to get stained. So I've already gone through and selected the colors. We have lemon yellow, pumpkin orange, the vermilion, crimson, magenta, orchid, eggplant, amethyst, Prussian blue, Egyptian blue. So I'm hoping to be able to do a bit of a more rich sky than this one. This is pretty though, and I like it a lot. I did not stay exactly the way the tree up here is. My tree grew branches. My tree is older. It's more established. So I went ahead and just taped out a rectangle with washi tape, just so I have those nice clean edges. Oh, if you are interested in coloring, my Patreon patrons are all going to be getting this fun peacock for having been a subscriber for the month of January. And then it will be in the list of freebies. So when you sign up for Patreon, you get all the freebies that have been given to everybody since I started Patreon. We're going to get this going. We are starting from the bottom. Now this is an inside out rainbow. We're starting at yellow instead of red. And I'm going to go in. I am not going to press hard. I am going to lay the colors down kind of by just lightly going back and forth. And I'm going to go up probably a full finger's width, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to go over it. Now, look, it's just skipping over the top of the texture. I am not digging in, okay? If you dig in, when you go across it, you cannot get that to become nice and fluid and smooth. It just doesn't happen. See, you'll always see the lines. Don't dig in with your color. Always lightly brush it in. Brush it in. And this is scribbling. And you can, if you can lay a nice even layer down, go for it. You can do it from the top. I suggest rotating your pencil. But it's really easy to get scribble lines that last, that stay here. I'm hoping that I can work that one out. I'm going to take the orange. This is pumpkin orange. I am going to come down partway into the yellow and start laying the orange in. And I'm going to be a little bit scattered on my lines of color where I'm overlapping. And then going up. So there'll be an area of orange, and then going up again so that there will be an area for the next color to start into. The vermilion, I'm going to start partway down in. Vermilion is a red. We're going to have these lovely gradients happening here, going from the yellow through the orange into the red. Now we're going to go into the crimson, which is a bluey red. And then we're going to use the magenta, which is another bluey red, but it's almost more purpley. And it will just make it easier to move into the purple. Make it a little bit more at the same aspect ratio as the reference. And you notice, see, I'm still just picking up the color, the next one over, overlapping, and going up. Overlapping, and working my way up. I'm kind of making this a narrower area for the going into the purple and the blue, I think. Hoping that I can get it to really compress the colors. This is the amethyst. Ooh. We will be picking up some of the colors and moving them around a little bit, because if you look at the reference, there's a little bit of purple down into that crimson red area. Let's see, Prussian, I think, is going to be my last blue. Get this on here. This is the Egyptian blue. And the Prussian. Oh yeah, the Prussian is really dark. Now the Prussian is almost a green colored blue. It's like a phthalo type blue. So it's got a bit of a green shade to it. So that kind of gets us all the way around through the rainbow, starting at yellow, yellow, orange, red. And then we're going to the purples and the blue, because usually you would go red, orange, yellow, blue, violet. So that's how I skipped green, because I didn't want any green in my sky. All right, I'm starting at the bottom, at the yellow, but oh, this is going to be nice. This is going to be much more vibrant. Look how quickly the color just melts. That's so pretty. Just going back and forth. I do have a paper towel to wipe my brush off on. So the pigment is dispersing across the whole thing. Taking a little bit of that orange that's on my brush and just working it down. See, look at that. Now I want to keep going, so I'm going to move up I'm squeezing my brush just a little. Whoops. I really don't want a giant drop of water in the middle. So I'm just getting my brush over the top of a paper towel to drip. Look. Ooh, pretty. This is very satisfying to watch this just sort of melt. Anybody want just some satisfying video? Actually, at the end, when I'm putting the silhouette tree in, I'm going to show you about a quarter of the tree in real time, and then I am going to speed the rest of the tree up in time lapse, just because once you see how to do it, you'll know how to do it. And I'm just going to keep going. I could put this into speed, but oh, this is just too fun. Look at those colors. And you can press down in it a little bit, and you can move your colors down. And by putting the red in the middle as the buffer for that purple, the red and the magenta, you don't end up with green, you don't end up with blue next to orange. It's so pretty. There we go. And see, this is something that you can do. This is something that you could do with kids. Go and, you know, if you don't trust them with your colored pencils, draw the colored pencil down on the paper for them and then give them a wet brush and let them paint it. See, look at that. Now, the colors on the tin, they have a listing that shows what colors are more or less color fast. And I don't know if they're having an outside company rate them. If they don't, it doesn't say, but they do have the ASTMD rating, so the materials are non-toxic and safe. Ooh. Look at that. So now I'm going to pick up some of that blue and I'm going to bring it down here and kind of work it back and forth like little indications of cloud shadows, and work that purple up. Oh, wow. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I'm going to wipe the brush off, dry it. Oh, let's make sure that we get back and forth a little bit more of that blue down here. Haha, just because we can. All right, the Inside Out Rainbow Sunset. We're all done with the water brush. I just squeezed it off on the towel or run it around to clean the bristles. Now I don't have any color coming off. Even though the bristles look dark, it's okay. All right, we're done with the pencils. We're going to dry this really quick. I'm just going to use my heat tool, holding it back a little distant. All right, I dried the front and the back. So now I'm going to start putting my tree in. The tree is so easy. If you look at the reference, basically there's a line going straight down the center, and then there's branches coming off of it. It's that easy. So I'm starting pretty much dead center, or slightly over maybe, and I'm just going to go straight up, up, and then I'm going to go off the edge. Whoops! Oh well, I went way off the edge. That's okay. And let's see if I can keep this tree a little narrower. I don't know. It may end up being thicker by the time I'm done. And then it kind of has a branch that goes off that way. Yep, I'm going to have to thicken that up just a little bit. And then color it in. We're not going to get the tree wet. And it's okay to have the sides be a little bumpy and lumpy. You're going to have branches coming out. This is not the bottom of the tree. This is not the ground. This is somewhere up in the middle of the tree. And we're just going to color it in. Main thing to remember, branches are thicker where they're attached to the tree and thinner as they go away. Branches are generally thinner as they go up, but not always, generally. So now I want to thicken up this branch going this way. So thicken that up right there where it's attached to the tree. Let's see, there's another branchy bit that's going to come up this way. I'm making the skeleton of my tree first. So now I'm looking at it and going, all right, there's a branch that comes this way, goes up, and it kind of works its way all the way up and off. Neat thing about the brush tip is that you can get this wide part where it's attached to the tree and then go lighter and lighter and lighter as you're going off. And where a tree branch meets, you don't have it sticking, it doesn't come straight out. It's always growing at an angle. Now, some of these are growing at an angle and then tipping down. So we've got a tree branch. Let's say we've got this one right here and it's coming out and then it's going down. But you see, it's easy to go like this and give a little crook to that branch so it looks like it's growing out of the tree, away from the tree and down. And then if your branch gets too thick here, you have to thicken up your trunk. See, this branch is thinner than the tree, but it's a little thick right there. So I'm going to go ahead and thicken up my trunk just a little bit. It's the way I like trees. You can make trees the way you like trees. And now there's more branches that kind of come out and go across, meet back into the tree, come out and down. If it's not opaque enough for you, I'm really enjoying, look how dark that is. So I think while I'm drawing the rest of these branches, because you kind of have an idea what we're doing, I'm going to go into fast forward, finish drawing these branches, come back, we'll draw some of the little branches, and then go into fast forward again. I think that'll be the best way to go. All right, do you know how hard it is to not start going into the tiny branches? Yeah, so anyway, now we're going to go into the smaller branches, and all it is exactly the same thing. Whatever branch it's attached to, it's smaller. So the branch coming off of here is going to be smaller. The branch coming off of this is going to be smaller, and the way to go smaller is lighter pressure. That way your branches can get smaller and lighter and more wispy, and you can make this as detailed as you want. The original is pretty darn detailed, and you'll see that some look weird That's because you've got branches coming off the front of the tree also, but it's in silhouette, so you don't see the highlight of the top of that branch. So, you know, you can have your branches going any way you want. And as you start getting more and more detail in here, they're going to get less and less logical. So after a while, it's going to look like you just have a jumble. But if you put them in a logical way, you'll have branches that people could follow back to the tree. And that's what makes it feel believable. So lighter pressure, then the big branch. And as you're going down, you're going to want to stretch these branches out. You want these branches to come all the way across, and they're going to cross other branches, and that's okay. As you go to the next level of branches, you're going to lighten up your pressure even more and start getting those really wispy branches. But one of the neat things is if you cross over a big branch, it could be a small branch coming off the big branch, and then you could get bigger branches again. Whew! It's a lot of fun, and this is where it becomes very meditative, you can get into a flow doing this. You can let your mind think about things or think about other creative projects. You'll find that other creative projects will start popping up in your head as you're doing things like this. So I'm going to just keep going. All right. See, my trees end up growing a lot more branches, a lot more heavy branches, and that's okay. That is all a part of the charm and joy in doing this for yourself, is you can grow your tree any way you want. I hope that you are enjoying this. Let's pull that tape off now. And yeah, I wasn't being super careful. It's okay, it's in my sketchbook. Okay, I'm going to sign it right here, I think, with my initials. Nice thing about it is that I can sign it right in here, and it doesn't detract from the picture. Thank you guys. Remember that there is a playlist that's popping up now in the iCard, and it's also going to be on the end card. Click that and head on over for more fun playing with Arteza materials. And I am going to see you over there at the next video.